What's up, you guys, and welcome to another episode of the Variety Views. I'm your host, the Variety Vendor, here to review Colossal. Last year was a wonderful year for movies. Some people might say that movies are not like what it used to be, or this year is a shitty year for movies, or something like that. But the thing is, if you look for them, you will find awesome movies. And this is one of them. This is definitely one of my favorite movies of 2017, starring Anne Hathaway and Jason Sudeikis, who I always mistake for Ed Helms, but never again, because Jason Sudeikis is now slowly becoming one of my favorite actors, and I'll always check out a movie whenever he's on it. Really loved him in Horrible Bosses, and really liked him in Hall Pass. I enjoyed that movie. And, whatever he's doing next, I'm definitely going to check out, as well as Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway was awesome in this. She played the lead, and her character, Gloria, is basically this down on her luck type of drunk that is always using other people to get ahead. Whether it's smooching off her her boyfriend in getting money, or living off to him, getting drunk with her friends, on their tab, and all that sort of stuff. To the point where she starts to neglect her, this is how the movie starts. She neglects her boyfriend, so much so that her boyfriend goes, I've had it, we never have time with each other, so I've packed your bags, just leave. I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you ever again. So she goes back home, and when she goes back home, she goes back to her old house, the house that she grew up in, and it's completely abandoned. Finds her keys under her mat, and starts living there. And as time goes on, and she gets reacquainted with her school, with her friend from when she was in elementary. And she realizes in one of the playgrounds that she would always walk past, going to school, there is a hot spot where she would get connected with a giant monster that always shows up in Korea, in South Korea. And in Seoul, I believe. Yeah, Seoul. That's where the monster shows up, and it only shows up whenever Gloria is on that playground. Whenever she steps into that playground, that's when the monster shows up. And whatever she does, that monster does as well. She tries to tell her friends about this, and that they believe her, and I like that they don't beat around the bush. And her friend, her school friend, her elementary school friend, Oscar, played by Jason Sudeikis. Now, whenever he stands in that playground, he's a giant robot, and that's all I gotta say about that. Okay, so whenever both of them, show up on that playground, that's when it triggers a giant monster and a giant robot in South Korea. And the rest of the movie is her trying to get back on track, and and that's really all I got to say about that. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. Because from then on, it's an amazing journey. It's an amazing journey for all characters, all the main characters at least. Especially Oscar and Gloria. Those are the main characters, and everybody around them has some sort of arc going on. Like one of Oscar's friends, I believe it's Joel. Yeah, Joel. He he's a good actor. And there are some things that happen in this movie that kind of triggers a few things. Tim, who plays Gloria's ex boyfriend, her boyfriend from the start of the film, and the stuff that goes through, and somewhere in the middle, he tries to get her back, and it's great. The stuff that they go through is just great. And I'm trying really hard not to spoil anything from this, and it's really, really hard. But I'll just say that you go out of your way to check this out. It's an amazing movie. It's an amazing discovery. When I heard about this, I was like, yeah, it sounds cool. It sounds cool, but I will check it out later on once I get through everything else. And now that I've watched it, I'm like, I'm glad that I did. Because it's definitely one of my favorites from 2017. I definitely give this movie 4.5 out of 5. This deserves it. Absolutely deserves it. One of the best movies, not just from 2017, but of all time. Of all the movies that I've ever seen, because it takes leaps, and it has so the director, Nacho Vigalondo, who was never known, and I don't think he still is known that much, because this movie didn't make its budget back, which is really saddening, because I really wish that this movie gets more notoriety, and whatever publicity this movie gets, from as little views that this review gets, I'm glad that I did my part, and I hope you guys check this out. And if you like it, tell your friends. Show this movie to your friends and everybody. Let's get everybody to talk about this movie, because that's the only way for good movies to have a bigger platform. That's when people say, like, oh, movies are not like what they used to be, or this is a shitty this is a shitty year for movies. Well, they're not looking hard enough, and maybe once they get to see movies like this, in their theaters, as in a regular basis, they will stop bitching and complaining, and maybe Hollywood will finally be like, okay, that's the kind of movie that we want to promote, like fucking good movies, not movies that are corporate whores. So, with that being said, rate, comment, favorite, help, please subscribe, share with your friends, share with everybody, and check out my next video talking about something else.